Hi, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Force Fandom, a podcast where one person tries to force another person to like the things that they love. Joining me for this first season of Force Fandom is journalist Emily Bamforth. Hi, Emily.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. I didn't know whether this was episode 1 or episode 2. Was the last one episode 0?
It was episode 0. This is technically episode 1, I guess you're right. I intentionally made it episode 0 because I wanted to make this episode 1, and then I messed up in the intro, and I'm sorry. All of you numbering nerds that get really upset with me about the numbering of the Dudes Brunch episodes, I'm sorry. This is episode 1, the last one was episode 0.
The one where Taylor apologizes.
Yes, that's going to be the episode title. No, it's not. So the title of this episode is going to be Northwest Passage, after the original title of Twin Peaks and the actual title of the Twin Peaks pilot, which is what we watched this week. So Emily and I both, I think on Thursday, as we record this Sunday,
Yeah.
we watched the pilot basically at the same time, and we're actually live tweeting it. You can see all of that fun over at #ForcedFandom. But
Which my tweets were not about it at all, I feel. Like half of it was just like me going, this is a person in something else.
yeah, you're like, oh, I recognize this actor from this other thing, and this person was on some CW show, and I'm like, that's really extraneous, but okay.
It's for all the Gilmore Girls fans out there, I don't feel it was extraneous.
Fine. I've had a lot of people tell me I need to watch the Gilmore Girls. Maybe I should actually give it a chance.
You should. It's really, really good. If you haven't seen the Gilmore Guys thing, the Gilmore
Yes,
where
that's actually where a lot of my friends started watching Gilmore Girls, is because they were listening to the podcast, Gilmore Guys.
oh, guys getting interested in something that girls normally like because two guys did it. That's interesting. That's not how life goes at all.
Right, of course not. But we're not here to talk about Gilmore Girls. We're here to talk about Twin Peaks. So, other than recognizing some of the actors, what were your first impressions of Twin Peaks?
I have so many feelings. So many. And I don't even know how to articulate them. Like a lot of people at work came up to me the day after because they saw I was live tweeting it, and I work with a bunch of journalists, so obviously they were on Twitter and paying attention, and most of them have seen Twin Peaks. And they were like, how do you like it? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I honestly do not know how to vocalize how I feel about the show, which would make for a very short podcast if I just left it at that. But it was really something.
So, did you enjoy it, I guess,
I
is my
don't
first question.
know. Okay, so after I watched it, I went back and looked at episode 0. And you were like, it's very long. The opening is very long. And I realized that it is the same length as an episode of Sherlock. And you said the first hour drags, but the last 30 minutes will just keep you going. And I felt the complete opposite way. Like the last 30 minutes, I'm like, come on. This is so
I put that in my notes as well. I think it had been like probably 2 years since I watched the pilot, and I
long.
forgot that the first 30 minutes is actually like really gripping because
It's really good. It's
they
insanely
discover
good.
Laura's body and they do all that stuff, and then the end, like the very end, like maybe the last 20 minutes is really good because they start to like actually investigate the murder. But then there's like this hour in the middle of just people grieving that honestly made me feel really uncomfortable on this second watching. I don't know if you felt the same way.
I tweeted, I was like 15 minutes in, and I'm already like crying hysterically because I did when Laura's mom figured out that her daughter had died. It wasn't like a direct telling. It was just her figuring it out from the way that her husband reacted on the phone. And I don't know why, but I think I've gotten to that point where I've stopped connecting with the teenagers as much on the show. And now I'm like, that must be really hard for the parents. Like, that must be like just soul crushing to find out that your daughter was like repeatedly raped. And then, well, we don't know she was raped, but the other girl was. So I'm assuming Laura was too. And like wrapped in plastic on the beach. Like, it, I couldn't even imagine. So yeah, that was pretty depressing. But like, then it like weirdly went camp. Like I was laughing a lot at it, and so it was just a lot of emotions. It's a lot of feelings.
And that really probably won't stop for you. Um, you're gonna laugh, and then you're gonna cry, and then you're gonna laugh like throughout this entire show.
Yeah, I was like, I watched it and I got psyched, and I put on like a fluffy robe and my pajamas, and I got chocolate milk, and I was like, I'm ready to go. And then it was just like, I think that's why I'm like eager to keep watching it. And it's not necessarily because I know that I like it yet. It's because I just want to see if this continues and if I can get a more definitive read on it. And I think that's really the purpose of a pilot. So, well, I mean, not essentially. Ideally, you'd be like, I love it, but nobody's like that after a pilot. So,
And this is definitely a weird pilot. We talked about that in episode 0. Like, I was watching it with my roommate who's never really watched the show, but he's familiar. And he was like, man, this really feels like a TV movie. And I was like, well, it was made to be a TV movie, so that's why.
yeah, it does. It definitely feels like that. It also, I don't know, like Agent Cooper feels ahead of his time. He feels like he should show up in like CSI. Like that's how I feel he should, I feel he should be. Also, you should watch The Killing because this show is very similar.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about The Killing. It's another one of those, like, shows that a certain type of people is really into, and they're usually Twin Peaks people. I'm sure there's, like, some influence going on there.
Because it's very similar. It's incredibly similar.
Yeah. So let's talk about characters.
Okay.
I guess you talked a little bit about Agent Cooper. You tweeted about him being dreamy, and you mentioned last episode that he was dreamy. Do you still feel that way?
I feel he's dreamy. I feel he's dreamy in the way that Chris Traeger from Parks and Rec is dreamy. It's very wholesome, very clean cut. I would like to share a slice of pie with that man.
So you understand now that he is really into pie.
He's super into pie. And you know what? I get that. I'm super into pie too.
And trees.
So. Yeah, super into trees.
That's one of my favorite lines, actually, in the pilot is, I've never seen so many trees in my life.
Yeah, isn't he from just across the border? Where is he from?
I don't think they ever say.
Yeah, apparently it, like, comes across the border. Like, they were like, oh, news reached across the border. So maybe he's from, like, DC or something. But, like, if he's based in, like, that part of the country, that's very strange. He hasn't seen that many trees.
I don't think he's based in that part of the country. He also has my favorite line of the whole series in this episode. You probably didn't catch it because it's like a fan nugget line. But in the scene where they open Laura's diary in the police station, he speaks to Diane about what he's finding in the diary, and we'll talk about Diane in a second. And then right before they cut that scene, he picks up a box and says, Diane, I'm holding in my hand a large box of chocolate bunnies. And then they just smash cut to the next scene. And every time I'm like, this line is so perfect for his character.
Diane, I'm holding a large box of chocolate bunnies. So, I love that he talks to Diane on this.
Yeah, so how do you feel about Diane?
I love her. I don't know her, but I love her. And I love that he reports everything back to her. I'm assuming she's just like his secretary, but still.
We don't actually know.
We know nothing about Diane?
Absolutely nothing.
I like her.
I think she's a really interesting device for the show because she kind of acts as, like, the audience. Where when he's speaking to Diane, he's really speaking to us.
Yeah.
And explaining what he's thinking.
That's it's a good way to voice his inner monologue, I feel.
So we talked about Laura's mom briefly. How do you feel about Mrs. Palmer?
I don't know too much about her, to be honest. I just know she's sad her daughter died. That's all I know.
And Mr. Palmer?
He's Kay. He's involved in something weird. This whole lumber mill politics thing is just like completely not what I care about at this point, which is I completely see why everybody was like, you need to say who killed Laura Palmer, and they're like, no, focus on the politics in the mill. And we're like, no, because I don't care about any of that. Like, I really don't at this point. And I do not care about that woman that is running the mill, like who owns it.
Oh, Josie
Yeah, the one who's like hooking up with
with the
the
sheriff.
yeah. I don't care.
I
I just don't.
forgot before I watched this that the first character you see on screen in the show is Josie. And she doesn't
Yeah.
say anything. She's just there.
Yeah, I didn't care about her then. I don't care about her now. I don't think I'll care about her in the future. She shuts down the mill for no apparent reason. I like the sister. I spiritually connect with the sister.
With which sister?
The sister of the guy who died. Like her the guy who used to own the mill.
Oh, the really mean
His
lady?
She's not mean. She doesn't want to shut down the mill. It's fine.
Yeah, but one of her workers' children is, like, missing.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't mean a mill has to stop.
We'll
This
see.
is when we find out Emily has no heart.
I guess that's
Uh,
fair.
yeah, but like she knows a lot more about running a mill than this other chick does, and I don't really like that she was left out of the whole. I don't like it. I hope she murders the other person.
Wow, intense.
Yeah, well, I like drama.
Okay, so speaking of drama, how do you feel about the teenagers? There are so many of them. We're gonna have to go through the list, but you're already laughing, so.
Bobby is the most hysterical character I've ever seen. He's like one of the guys from Greece, and I don't know why, because it's set in 1989. Like, there's no point to him, like, having a leather jacket and, like, acting like an idiot and, like, acting like he's gonna break out into Grease lightning at any given moment.
Many fans say that Bobby has a very punchable face,
He does.
which I totally agree with, especially in the pilot. I'm just like, damn it, Bobby, I don't want to listen to you right now.
No, like, Bobby, you, like, please just cooperate and move on with your life. Also, why was Agent Cooper questioning that chick with no guardian or lawyer present?
That's a very good question. Donna,
Yes, Donna.
I've never thought about that until you mentioned it on Twitter,
Hmm.
with your making a murderer reference, which I appreciated. But yeah, I never really noticed that she doesn't have a parent or a lawyer, but Bobby does have a lawyer.
Yeah. They make a very big deal about Bobby getting a lawyer.
Well,
And
and it could
then
just
Donna
be,
is no.
I mean, Donna is like, I mean, Donna's not a suspect, for
That's
starters,
fair, but if she said anything, it could still be entered in as entered in
as
as evidence.
testimony, right? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean
Um,
that legal system.
right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very weird. Okay, so how do you feel about Donna?
I don't get why everyone's obsessed with James. I just really don't. He seems like a doorknob. I've met like a bunch of guys like him, and they all are not appealing. And I don't understand why they're all like, James rides a motorcycle but shows no human emotion. Why? I'm gonna go like be with him. Laura was crazy about you. She liked the way that you were dead behind the eyes. Like, what? Even, and I don't understand. I think Donna has a very punchable face. I kind of want to punch Donna in the face.
Donna,
Also,
Donna,
Harriet is a gem.
Harriet,
Like,
Donna's little sister.
yeah, she's a gem. I love her.
She's awesome, and she does not get very much screen time, which is really unfortunate.
I like that she's like, "Yes, I will cover for you." And then the dad comes in and is like, "Where's Donna?" And she's like, "She went out the window." Like,
Yeah, like straight away, she's just like, I'm ratting my sister out. I don't care. Um, Donna's parents, kind of an interesting dynamic.
I love them. They're nice. I like her dad. Her dad is like very, I feel like for everybody running around like having very high emotions about things, like everybody's super intense and they just got like we had just gone through that terrible fight scene in the bar where for some reason two teenagers could take out like 50 men. Um and like everybody was running on very high intensity and very high fumes and it was very nice to see that this man took out a second to still be a parent and like still parent his daughter, even though her best friend is gone, and kind of be like that constant. I feel like he might be a little bit of a voice of calm, which is nice.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. Also, random trivia fact: Donna's mother is in real life is Emily and Zoe Deschanel's mother. Yeah.
Mind blowing.
So
That's
you'll see her name in the credits. Her last name is Deschanel. That's who that is.
I don't remember what she looks like. I'm gonna have to look
She's
at
the one in
like.
the wheelchair.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to like look at her eyes now because
She's not there that much. She's kind of a minor role, but it's just a cool little thing. There are stories of
it's a
like
cool fact.
them
Yeah.
as little children on set of the show.
Was Zoe Deschanel running around like strumming a ukulele?
Probably. So there's only one other teenager I think that we need to talk about, and that's Shelly. What do you think of Shelly?
I don't remember Shelly.
Shelly works at the
That
diner, and she's married to Leo.
yeah. First of all, I thought Leo was her dad for like a
No,
hot second.
that's I mean, he looks a lot older than her, and he probably is, but they're married.
Yeah, that's sad. That whole situation is very sad. The fact she's sleeping with Bobby is not great. The fact that she says, "Come on, cowboy, light your fire," is not great.
And encourages him to drink whiskey while driving to school.
It was a different time. It was 1989. Apparently, drunk driving is cool, as are leather jackets.
Bobby does so much drunk driving in that episode.
Yeah. Also, I love that. I don't even know what the name of his friend is. What's the name of the blonde
Oh,
friend? The
Mike.
blonde knucklehead? Yeah, Mike. Of course, his name is Mike. But he's like, "No, Bobby's not driving tonight, sir." And he's like, "Well, why don't you go like look for my daughter?" And he's like, "Okay, I'll go look for your daughter right away, sir." And they get in the car, and Bobby drives off. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, and the dad's just like,
Well, I
I'm
think he's
stuck in
just
my
kind of
house.
accepted that these two are idiots, and like if one of them dies because he's driving drunk, whatever.
Also, that my kid needs like a therapist. He needs to calm down.
Are you
'Cause-
referring to the scene in the jail cell where they bark at James?
Okay, living in Cleveland, they are just like Browns fans. It's fine. They bark at everything.
Okay, I guess that's a thing.
No, that was concerning on so many levels. And I don't know why they put that in there. I really don't. Also, I didn't feel bad for James. I was like, yeah, go kill him. I don't care. Like, it really does not matter to me because James is like, I have no emotional connection to James whatsoever. None.
So, let's see. James is in jail, so we need to talk about the police. There's Sheriff
Yeah.
Truman.
Yes.
So, how do you feel about Sheriff Truman, played by Michael Ontkeen?
Is he Andy? Oh, no. Harry.
Harry, yeah. Sheriff
Yeah.
Harry S. Truman.
Oh, yes. Which one is he? The
He's
main one?
he's the main cop that works with Cooper.
I don't know. I'm worried about him. I don't know.
Why? Because he's sleeping with Josie, or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay, that's
Like,
fair.
I feel like he's a little in over his head at this point, and like,
You think?
yeah, a little bit in over his head. And he seems to be smart, but not the brightest tool in the box. And I'm just a
As
little.
opposed to who? Andy?
Which one is Angie?
The one who cries at crime scenes?
Oh, but him and the receptionist, they're so cute.
Didn't I tell you you would love the
They're so
receptionist?
cute. Yes, you did.
I can never
And I
remember her
love.
name, but she's amazing. She does so
It
good in
starts
this.
with an L. I can't remember,
I can't
but
either. We'll pick it up in the next episode.
she's absolutely amazing. She's like my favorite character on the show, probably.
I'm trying to think. Oh, zany female characters. We can talk about Nadine
Nadine is the one
with the eye
that,
patch.
yeah, uh,
You haven't spent a lot of time with Nadine yet.
I have not. Nadine and I have not spent a lot of time. I noticed there was a chick with an eye patch. That's about it.
She's interesting, and she's of course married to Big Ed, who runs the gas station.
Yeah, who's sleeping with what's her name?
Oh, Norma, who runs the diner.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
that brings us to kind of my big question for you at the end of this episode. Now that we've gone through the whole laundry list of characters of Twin Peaks, do you
yeah.
trust any of these people?
Could you see I was waiting a little bit towards the end? I'm like, I have all these feelings about the first like 10 that you brought up, and then you were like, what about Nadine? And I'm like,
Well, because I was working my way from the important people down to Nadine. I think as far as the pilot goes, she is the least important.
yeah,
Because she only gets like 2 shots in the whole pilot, so I don't
that's
feel
fair.
bad. Oh, and we missed one. Actually, one who gets a fairly decent amount of screen time compared to Nadine, the log lady.
The log lady.
Yeah, when they have the town hall meeting. So they have the town hall meeting, and someone is flicking the lights on and off, and Cooper looks up, and it's a lady holding a log. And he turns to Harry and says, "Who's that lady with the log?" And he says, "Oh, we call her Log Lady."
Oh, I must have just not paid attention to that. I was just like, could we get on with it?
Well, she only gets one line of dialogue in that whole scene, and she walks up to Cooper and tells him, "Someday my log will have something to say to you." And your confused expression right now is about all I'm going to give you for that line.
Okay.
So, we've talked about pretty much every character in Twin Peaks, and at this point, I want to know, do you trust any of these people?
Ed. I trust Ed.
Okay.
I trust the dad. I trust Mike didn't do anything because he's an idiot. But besides that, I mean, I don't really like.
What about Agent Cooper?
I trust him. He's the man. He's the law. He's dreamy. Of
Oh,
course I trust him.
and we forgot Audrey. How do you feel about Audrey?
Is she the one who keeps like messing everything up?
Yeah, she's the heiress to the hotel.
Oh my God, I hate her. She's the absolute worst. Oh my God. Like when she's like sticking the pencil in the cup and like they're like, please don't remove that. It will soak all this paperwork. And she's like, I have nothing else to do. No, I hate her. I do not trust her one bit. I don't see any of them being murderers, though, is the thing. Like, I can't. They're not smart enough.
That's an interesting assessment of these people. You don't think Leo's killed a man?
Yeah, but not like in the way where they can't. Like, here's the thing: if Leo killed her, it would be very obvious. She'd be left somewhere. DNA evidence would be everywhere. That would literally be it. Like, she would have been like beaten up. Like her face would have been bruised.
Oh,
Like,
so you think he's too stupid to have like orchestrated something like this?
yeah, and it had another girl locked up.
That's fair.
Yeah, and there's like obviously DNA evidence is still gonna like play into this, not to the level that it does now in these kinds of shows, because they just didn't have the technology. But like, it's still gonna play in, and it's very hard for me to picture any of them being crafty enough to do this.
Yeah,
So like,
that's fair.
I'm gonna have to see. Like maybe I'll become less enthralled with the murder and more enthralled with the log lady and the politics there. But right now, I have no idea.
That's fair. So we're gonna watch episode 2 this week. What's your like big thing that you're looking forward to or wondering about for episode 2?
I want to build some emotional connections with the characters. I want to have a favorite. I want to have a least favorite. I want things to be a little bit more solidified than they are right now. And I want to know whether or not I want to be able to verbalize my feelings on this particular matter. But I
All right.
can't right now. So,
Well, thank you for sitting through 90 minutes of the pilot and 30 minutes of podcasting with me.
yeah.
We only have an hour-long episode this week, so it's really like 45 minutes because it doesn't have commercials, so should be a little bit easier.
Yeah, I'm not gonna live tweet that one, I don't think.
No, I don't think I'm going to either.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably not live tweet another thing until like the
The season
last
finale.
one. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it. I'm hearing that I should keep going from a lot of people, and so I will
All
because
right.
I'm required to because I'm forced to.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Emily. If the people like what you have to say and want to tweet spoiler-free things at you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Emily M. Bamforth, and you should tweet with the hashtag Forced Fandom.
Very good. And you could find me on Twitter at TC Olmsted. We're also going to be posting the show in r/Twin Peaks. So if you want to give us some feedback, you should head on over there. It's a really great community, and they will gladly share things with you about it without spoiling you, hopefully. So that's good.
Everyone there is so nice.
I know, right? It's like one of the best subreddits. I absolutely love this fandom. All
They're
right,
neat.
well,
I
until
like
next
them.
week, we will be watching Twin Peaks.
And we will be on Dudes Brunch.
We will be on Dudes Brunch in like an hour and a half.
But this
Episode.
will be posted after that.
Yeah,
So
through the magic of time travel, this will be posted after that. But you can see both Emily and I on episode 43 of Dudes Brunch, so check that out, and we'll be promoting this show through the magic of time travel. All right.
the internet's a wonderful thing.
It is. Goodbye, Emily.
Bye.